What's up, everyone? Welcome to another This Day in Philly Sports History for September 19th, 2022. Happy Eagles game day. They take on the Vikings tonight at the Link at 8:30. Today, though, we're going to try to give the Phillies some positive September vibes. They had a pretty rough weekend this past weekend against the Braves. They've actually fallen now, to the third wild card spot. They are a half a game behind San Diego for that second. They're still up 2 games for the third over the Brewers. Hopefully, this is not a sign of another September swoon. And so I definitely wanted to try to bring them some good positive vibes, especially with the podcast that's going to be coming out this week, which is the complete opposite of positive vibes. But anyway, on this day in 1983, the Phillies, one day after they took over first place in the NL East by sweeping the Cardinals, beat the Cubs at the Vet 7-6 behind 2 home runs by Joe Morgan. And they were able to open up a 2-game lead, which they just continued to go. I believe they won the division by 6 games that year. I don't really know much about the 83 Phillies. I was probably about 4 years old, 3 years old, depending. I guess I was 4 years old. And I remember watching and hearing people talk about some of the games. As I got older and researched, I know they called them the Wheeze Kids because they were so old, and it was like a play on the 1950 team. But yeah, I mean, they had so many old guys on that team. But I just remember, and I don't know what this came from or where this came from, what it meant, but I just remember in my mom's china cabinet, there were 2 unopened glass bottles of Coca-Cola from that World Series that they were Orioles World Series Coke bottles. So I don't know if somehow my uncle, as a joke, my Uncle Boo, who is an Orioles fan, got them and my parents put them in there. I don't know if my parents got them. Never once thought to ask, to be completely honest with you. I don't even know, now that the china cabinet's not there, whether my mom still has them. Mom, if you're listening, send me a text message. Let me know where those Coke bottles are. But that's just something, like I said, a random fact that about that 83 team that I remember was those 2 glass Coke bottles. So could have been something my grandfather did too. Who knows? But anyway, this day in Philly sports history, the Phillies beat the Cubs 7-6 at the Vet to open up a 2-game lead. They would go on to win the National League that year and then lose to the Orioles in the World Series. I think it was 4-1 or 4-2. But the most important thing today is we have the Eagles playing the Vikings tonight at the Link on Monday Night Football. We lost our pick last week by a point when the Eagles kind of just let the Lions do whatever they wanted late in the game. Going to come back this week. The spread right now is 2.5. The Eagles are laying the 2.5 points. We're going to go with the Eagles. I think for whatever reason they're going to come out fired up tonight. I don't necessarily think Kirk Cousins plays well on primetime games anyway. I think that the Vikings are going to be good, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they were as good as they were last week. I think the Eagles, at least defensively, are better than what they showed last week. And if you saw the game yesterday, Detroit didn't look that bad against Washington. Yes, I know it's Washington. I know the whole Carson Wentz narrative and things, but they didn't look like a bad team. So I don't know how much shame there is in the Eagles giving up those points, especially after having that big lead. So tonight we're taking the Eagles minus 2.5 to beat the Vikings. I think we're going to come out and we're going to see a steady dose of running the ball. Looking forward to watching the game tonight, but stay tuned for Back to the Future later this week. We're going to, again, go back and look at that terrible meltdown by the Phillies. So be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow on Twitter and TikTok at Jimbo_Mont. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go Birds. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.